Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Upkick MMA episode 511. I am Brendan. All right, UFC Noche prelims. And we're going to talk about the fights on this card. This is Jose Daniel Medina versus Dusko Todorovic. That's the featured prelim. We're going to talk about that one. All the rest of the fights, talk about some scores. Relatively lackluster night of fights. Relatively lackluster production, right? Not as much riding on this as what felt like in the past. I felt like the Noche had a little bit more sting to it than this year did. If you like this kind of thing, subscribe to the channel. That when next video is coming out, I really appreciate it. I talked about it in the main video already, so if you're interested in my opinion on on how the UFC Noche went, I talked about it up there. I also talked about how the Fighting Nerds. I didn't go too in depth, but the Fighting Nerds have kind of hit a skill wall recently, and it doesn't appear that they are the boogeymen that they once did. So, I think that catches up with everybody. Anyway, let's talk about the prelims. Dusko Todorovic taking on Jose Daniel Medina. I wrote before this started, I was like, probably going to be a KO. And I figured Todorovic was going to be on the end of that one. Medina isn't the cleanest striker, but he's got a chin. Todorovic, opposite. I mean, he's a better striker, not the best. Well, maybe not. I don't even know if he's a better striker necessarily, but he leaves his chin out there all the time, gets caught all the time, and I figured he was going to sleep. So Todorovic starts by pressing him to the cage, starting with his grappling a little bit. Medina's just not throwing as much, so Todorovic is getting to him with the counters, but his chin's always there, and I'm like, oh, he's going to get knocked out. Lots of right hands are landing for Todorovic, clinching. Medina swinging and missing. Big. He was only finding the marks sparingly. I mean, it says he landed 9 strikes here. How many to the head? 5. Yeah, it sounds about right. It just did not seem like he was landing very much, and Todorovic gets him down, takes the back, gets the arm under the chin almost immediately in transition, and gets the short choke. Did not see it going like that. Excellent finish for Todorovic. I called for, I was, after his Zachary Reese fight, and maybe even after the Abdul Malik fight, I said, I think he's got skills. He just needs to work on stuff before he's successful consistently in the UFC. I still maintain that position. I still maintain that opinion, but it's good to see him get a win. Yeah, he's not in boring fights. That counts for something. That counts for something. All right, Claudio Puelles versus Joaquim Silva. Boring to watch, I think. Puelles gets a single leg, treetops him, getting on top, staying on top for a majority of this round. Silva getting to close full guard and just trying to mitigate damage. Whole lot of holding. Silva didn't want to use energy to get up, so we had 4 minutes and 22 seconds of control time. Silva landed 0 of 4 significant strikes. Yep, Puelles controlled him. Anyway, second round, great double leg from Puelles, getting on top again right away, control for a minute. Silva just not willing to really let go, trying to get Puelles along the fence before he lets go. He doesn't want him out in the open where he can retreat and then duck under and get a takedown. Looks like Silva hurt him to the body with a teep along the fence, and Puelles really wants to grapple. Couldn't get it done in this round. Silva jumps guillotine to end the round. I felt like Silva won this one. Outdamaged him, outlanded him 11-6. Like I said, outdamaged him. Didn't really get controlled for too long, about a minute of control time, but that doesn't win you a round if there's damage involved. So Puelles getting to the takedown again, forcing the clinch along the cage, landing the nice left hand on the separation. Puelles stayed on this back body lock. They fully separate, clinch again. Puelles lands a big left hand. Silva's rocked, but then he goes back to the takedowns instead of going for the finish. Huge exchange right at the end. Puelles should take this one. Silva outlanding him here, 14-12, but the control time and damage should go to Puelles. So, looking at the scorecards here, I think everybody had it that same way. Oh, no. Oh, that's right. Silva landed that in that exchange. Yeah. Okay, that's correct. Chris Lee gave the second round to Puelles? How? That's a bad scorecard. I mean, I got confused while I was saying it because I didn't write it down well, but I know damn well Puelles didn't win that second round. Yuck. Who does that? Ugh. Amanda Lemos versus Tatiana Suarez. I wrote before this started, I was like, Tatiana really needs an impressive win. She needs a dominant win to show that she's the world beater that she was before the title fight. That's really what she was. Before her title fight, she was just a world beater. What she did to Jessica Andrade. I mean, everybody else leading up to that too, but what she did to Jessica Andrade, just, it put her in another category for me. I thought she was just going to run. I didn't think she was going to run through Weili Zhang, but I thought eventually she would break her down. And the thing is, she sat out for 2 years. It's just, oh no, at the time, who was it? Rose Namajunas might have been the champion. That's why. Anyway, so coming off that loss for the title where she just did not look impressive, I was like, okay, like let's see how this goes. Suarez tentatively looking to move in, but Lemos just standing there. So nothing happens. And then a low blow from Suarez takes 2 minutes, kicks Lemos low, right in the junk. Suarez finally able to catch a kick and get her down, but they get right back up. So I'm like, oh boy, this is unluck for Suarez. And then Suarez gets a big leg lift, and Lemos grabs the cage. Just straight up grabs the cage to stop her from getting taken out. She still gets taken down anyway, but... and it was hard to really tell who did damage in this round. Suarez outlanded her, apparently 7-5. Nobody landed to the head, right? No. Nobody really did a ton of damage. So damage was a wash for me. So you had 3 minutes of control time for Suarez. That's where you go with it. Not the most fun fight to watch. Second round, Lemos landing low kicks, letting herself get pushed to the fence again. Seemed like she was letting her do it on purpose. It looked like Lemos was staying on that warning track near the edge of the cage on purpose to use the wall for wrestling. It looks like that was a big part of her game plan to not get taken down in the middle. Lemos, Suarez getting to the standing back body lock, working her way to a lift, getting on top, and then Lemos squeezing real hard to get a ninja choke and jump guard, just can't get it done. Here's the thing. Do you give this round to Lemos for attempting that last second submission? I don't, because Suarez just stood straight up with it, never used her left hand to engage. She just kept that on the cage to stay standing, and let her wear her arms out, essentially. Having a grip on someone's head or neck doesn't necessarily mean the choke is close. I don't think it was good. And maybe it was, but Suarez played it off so well that she acted perfect. So there's no way for me to know how deep that choke was. And based off of what I saw, I don't give it to her. So I gave the second round of Suarez as well. I had her up 20-18, just because, again, not a lot of damage, tons of control time. Right? And then that thing on the neck, that submission attempt, if it's not close to finishing, it's just control time. That's essentially like having a front headlock. Front headlock is good head control, but it's not going to submit anybody with a front headlock. You have to use a submission. Anyway, last round, Lemos defends a takedown and tries to control her in the front headlock position and stay down there, but then Suarez uses that to wrestle up, get to the cage, and put her there again, and whatever. Suarez got a lift and slam, had to roll out from bottom because, she overcommitted to the slam. Lemos lands 2 big hooks, and when they're in the open, she was outlanding her. Suarez looked tired. Lemos outlanded her 13-8. This was clearly her round. Most dominant round as far as damage goes, for sure. 29-28. She just didn't win the first 2 rounds. That's how that works. All 3 judges saw it the same way. Yeah, you can't lose the first 2 rounds and then do good damage, not some overwhelming amount of damage in the last round, This is why if you're going to have 10-8 be a real thing instead of just arbitrary, you need to do it appropriately. Jesus Aguilar versus Luis Gurule. This one just felt like it was fun to watch. Aguilar ducking his head down, throwing hooks, leaning forward as they exchange. Probably lands more than Gurule, but it's not really clear in the initial exchanges. But then over time, Aguilar is just pressure, just nonstop rushing. In the middle of the round, Gurule was allowed to go at his pace. Things kind of slowed down, but it did not matter. He overextended, got off balance, and Aguilar was able to, with the bursts before the end and the way he started, he outstruck him 35-12. How do you not give it to him? Let's see if his pace keeps up. So in the second round, his pace did not keep up. Right, he slowed down quite a bit. Gurule getting into his rhythm, able to land more. I leaned towards Gurule in the second round because it just seemed like it was his pace of fight. He was landing the better shots. That even on the scorecards, his pressure forward was able to sustain. I had it 19-19 going to the third. And then Aguilar, I figured, okay, Gurule is going to be able to keep it at his pace and keep the pressure on, or at least mitigate the damage coming back from Aguilar, because we saw what would happen in the second round. That's not what happened. Aguilar stayed in there. Aguilar staggered him with a jab. He went guillotine. And Gurule was landing on exits in the exchanges with big hooks, and they were having an impact, but nothing so much that he rocked him. Gurule landed a big right hand over the top. See, the thing is, this round, the striking number is 33-30 in favor of Gurule. Close round. It felt like Gurule got back enough to end the round. So I gave it to him 29-28. Right? But I wouldn't be mad if they gave it to Aguilar either. If they gave this round to Aguilar, I totally understand. I felt like Gurule worked his way back from getting rocked, did tons of damage, and was able to get it back. I mean, hell, he outstruck him, and those were good, significant strikes. He outstruck him to the head 28-14. Those were very significant. I felt like he did a ton of damage. So, like I said, I wouldn't be mad if he gave it to Aguilar. But here's the thing. Jesse Laurenti here, giving all 3 rounds to Aguilar. Again, this Gurule had no shot with this fucking guy. And I'm really surprised that nobody gave Gurule that last round. I figured that was going to be a split one. Weird. All right, let's talk about the next fight just for a moment here. We don't have to cover it for very long. Sedriques Dumas versus Zachary Reese. Dumas comes out. Both guys are throwing big shots. No one's setting shit up. They're throwing big kicks from the outside and looking to end the night with one shot. And then Reese kicks him in the nuts really hard. Right? Dumas can't get up, can't walk around. He says it feels like his right ball won't drop. It's just like insane pain. Can't walk. Like the referees, I think it was Mike Beltran, tell him to get up if you can, walk it off. He can't. Leave him alone. Stop telling him that. I know you're trying to get control of the situation, but like in this moment, leave the dude alone. If he doesn't get up, he doesn't get up. Who gives a shit? It's just what happened. We got a no contest. Don't really need to dwell on it any more than that. All right. Alden Coria versus Alessandro Costa. This one had some back and forth moments. Oh man, we got 2 more fights again. Costa's the one moving forward. Coria's forcing him to miss. He's slipping and countering really well. Costa taking a little long to get into the groove, and he's shelling up kind of tight. And then Costa started to find some counters as Coria opened up. And, Coria, I felt like he landed a bit more. He banked early. And I felt like Coria, just outdid him. But I also felt like if this pace continued, Costa was going to win because Costa picked it up, started to kind of get in his groove as the round went on. Nope. First round I had 10-9 for Coria. Second round, oh my goodness. Kind of weird with Coria getting to the body lock. Costa jumps full guard. And then Costa really active off his back, trying to isolate an arm, going to threaten to get back to his feet, and then attacking. Going DOA. Sorry. Double outside Ashi to threaten and get back to his feet, then attacking Kimura as takedown defense, and Costa rolls, gets on top, like really fun stuff, like lots of fun grappling, but Costa wasting some energy on the back, not able to keep the body triangle, and then Coria on top landing ground and pound. This is the problem, right? Costa did no damage. He landed one shot this whole round. He had some good control time, but when he was in dominant position, he was kind of going for submission, just looking for control, and Coria landed damage, and he had more control time. So, easy 2018. Good back and forth round. Just, Coria landing damage, Costa not. Last round, Costa says something's wrong with his toe, like he was worried about something wrong with his toe, and in this round, you could tell something happened. He didn't feel right. He just accepted the loss. He got hit once, and he was kind of like, and just sat down. I think his toe was really messed up. All right, Alice Pereira versus Montserrat Rendon. Rendon's. This one was really bad. I don't really want to break this one down. This is very similar to how the Rob Font fight went with Rendon just chasing after her. Rendon did a bad job of cornering her too. Like she wouldn't cut her off, and she just chased her. Really bad to watch. Pereira probably did enough in this first round to pot shot, right? A little bit of clinch work, but super boring. Do not watch this fight. 10-9. Second round, same thing. Pereira running away, trips on the cage. Rendon landing some good shots as she's running after her, gets some control. But then, it's just Rendon chasing her down, forces her to take a bad shot and gets to the back and ends the round going for the rear naked choke. Okay, Rendon outlanded her, but it was super boring. 19-19, last round, both women going forward. So this, again, third round gets more interesting. But Rendon wins this. She landed more strikes, moving forward more in the last 10 seconds, because with the last 10 seconds, they were almost dead even. And look at the striking numbers here, 14-13 in favor of Rendon. But who threw more? Rendon did. She threw almost double, 64-34 attempted. I know what you're saying, but she missed more. Yeah, no kidding, because she was throwing more. But attempted offense is still something, right? If you and I are fighting and you attempt one strike and I don't attempt anything, you're winning the fight. Because you're attempting offense. You're attempting to end the fight. Right? You're attempting a sequence that will end the fight. I'm not. And that's the way it works. This fight was so bad. Let's look at the scorecards real quick here. Camijo giving the last round to Pereira. That's wrong. Gino Garcia giving that first round to Rendon. Oh, yeah, I wrote that. Garcia gives it a 30-27. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure there's no favoritism there. Anyway. Yeah, I don't like that first round either, Gino. Like, I didn't like her running away either, but she landed more, and she did more damage. That's the first scoring criteria, not running away or running towards somebody. Anyway, Jesse Laurenti is the only one here who has the right scorecard. So full of crap. Okay, first fight of the night. Daniil Donchenko versus Rodrigo Sezinando. This was the Ultimate Fighter finale. And boy, it was a little sloppy. Sezinando with the pressure, landing with that right hand. He's kind of sloppy, right? Sezinando's kind of sloppy here. Donchenko was finding some elbows in tight, cutting him up. Started to really stick with those elbows. Sezinando was just trying to overwhelm him with pressure, but he was swinging sloppy, eating elbows, getting taken down. And then at one point in there, he was kind of looking for a break after taking a knee to the chest on the ground. He looked up at the referee like, what the heck, after, he was a grounded opponent, and he was like, what the heck, that's an illegal knee. He's basically looking for any break he could get, and then Sezinando gets it. He jumped up during a kick and takes a kick to the nuts. you can't say he got kicked on the nuts on purpose, but he definitely didn't stop it, and he really wanted a break. Gets it, but it also gave Donchenko a break. And then Donchenko comes out, lands a huge right hand, and gets a TKO finish. Sezinando just looked sloppy as all get out. Just not great. Not a great performance for him. Anyway, relatively fun fight night. I would say that Noche has lost its luster. I could be proven wrong next year, but I think so far it's lost its luster. If you like this kind of thing, like I said at the top, if you like the video, hit the subscribe button. I put these out pretty much every week, so I appreciate it if you like it. Yeah, let me know what you guys thought. Did you watch this at all, or were you guys just waiting for the Crawford fight? Because I kind of was. I mean, I watched these. I did my due diligence, took my notes like I always do, but I was more interested in the boxing that was going on. So appreciate y'all for stopping by. It means a lot to me. Have an amazing week. Peace. Love y'all.